Good evening, Sparsh. Happy Halloween, happy Diwali. We're recording this on October 31st. Last week, you lost to Christian Crusaders, previously 0-7 and now 1-7. You go down to 3-5. You arguably had the best roster in the league on paper, but your team just hasn't performed, hasn't really gave that high ceiling week that we all expect. And I just want to know, like, when are we going to get that high ceiling week?
Yeah, happy Diwali, happy Halloween. Things are definitely looking a little spooky in our neck of the woods, that's for sure. We underperformed last week. You know, we put a lot of thought, a lot of effort into building a star-studded roster. So we definitely have the talent. I know that's there. We just kind of got to play up to it. I think a lot of things went wrong for us last week in terms of just like some down performances from some guys that I normally kind of expect to do a little bit better. Jalen Hurts definitely um, stole some touchdowns from my guy Saquon. So that was that was the definition of Mick right there. That's where the Mick allegation started for me. So I'm gonna push those onto the now Jalen Hurts owner here, Mr. Revanth. So, but we have the talent. Things are going to get better. It's not like the chances of JJ, Tyreek, AJ Brown, and Saquon all having like low double digits is like it's low. It's not. I don't think we're going to see that again very often. So we're optimistic. We're just gonna put our heads down and get what we need to get done.
I'm leaving the questions to the floor. Someone can just go right ahead.
So obviously, you're considered very high in the power rankings, and for good reason. Your team has a lot of respect, and I mean, you named it with the studs. And sure, you've had some underwhelming performances, but there's good reason to believe in and have an optimistic outlook on your team. But can I ask? It's good to brush those off and not be worried. And I'm not here to say you're being complacent or anything, but when does a worry happen? Let's say you have a couple more underwhelming performances, or somehow, you get an overwhelming performance from your opponent. When does the panic button happen? And, I'm not here to say you should prepare for that, but are there contingency plans in place?
I mean, you can't really have contingency plans. It's like, it's plan A, all the way through. Um, we we did our job in trying to build the best roster that we can. I think we've done a pretty good job about it, and we're still looking to kind of we still have some weaknesses that we're working on, and we're still looking to improve those if we can, shore them up. But at the end of the day, right, you can't. Yeah, there's some wins that I would have liked to have over the past few weeks. Um, but I mean, there's no reason to panic. Like we're panicking. We can't. We have a great roster, so it's really just about at this point the it playing up to its standard. Um, so there's not much more that can be done from a management perspective. I think at some point you just got to trust your guys, right? It's a game of probabilities. You can put yourself in a good situation, and then things can still not work out.
Yeah, what's going on with the QB room in your team? It seems
Yeah.
pretty crowded. You got Sam Darnold starting this week, looks like at least. Then you got Jared Goff, Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson. Does this show like a lack of confidence in your starter? Should he be worried? How do you expect your starter to perform when you have so many reliable backups breathing down his neck?
No, for sure. I mean, yeah, we absolutely have a bit of a carousel here going on. I think if we just look at the NFL, I think similar questions were being asked to Mike Tomlin before when he announced he was bringing in Russell Wilson. So we've got some competent guys who can get us wins in our quarterback room. It's just about playing who's right for the right week, and trying to make the right decisions here. So.
Not to, make you like tip your hand or anything, but are you gonna try to make a move for a QB? This is coming from experience, streaming QBs every week. I feel like, it's a pretty big risk not having just a guy you can just start.
Yeah.
Any QBs, I mean, are you in the market for a QB?
Yeah, I mean, QB, I think QB, RB and RB2 is really like the two things that I guess my lineup is missing the most. Yeah, I'm in the market for a QB, but there's only a few guys in this league that like QB wise that are worth trading for, right? And I think like for example Lamar, like he's probably pretty expensive. I just don't know if the return on some of these guys is going to be worth. I think I can get good production out of streaming some of the guys that I have. Like Jared Goff's been playing good, Darnold's been playing good, and I have the stack with JJ there, and then Bo Nix has been playing good. So I want to have him on my bench and see if he kind of continues that streak and see what happens. But I'm reasonably optimistic that I'm going to be able to get like 16 points out of one of these guys. At this point, it's up to like my main four, right? Like Saquon, AJ Brown, Tyreek, and JJ to win me the week. It's not about the QB. It's not about the RB2. I just need decent production from those guys. I need the four I have to step up and win me any given week. That's how I see it.
All right, you are 3-5. I know TJ brought up the panic button, but you only have like two losses max that you can take, and maybe even one loss. Looking at how top heavy this, like how many good records there are in this league right now, and I just want to hear like, is there like a real panic? Because this is space football. Anything can happen. Is there like a real panic, with your record?
I mean, there's not a real panic. Like, am I concerned? Sure, but at the end of the day, like it's not like I haven't made move. I made moves. I built a good roster. Like I don't see. You know what I mean? Like anyone. It's the best. It's probably the best roster I could have in my situation. I got kind of unlucky with some injuries that stacked up right at the beginning, and that definitely hurt me. But like I said, like at the end of the day, I built a great roster now. There's not much I can do by like panic. Like I did my best. At this point, it's just like this is kind of where the luck of fantasy football comes in.
All right. Any more questions before I get on to his next matchup? All right. Next week, well, this week now. You play lads, who have put up points these last 2 weeks, even though they lost. And I just want to get your thoughts on their roster and how this matchup is going to go.
Yeah. I mean, I know they've been struggling. But there are some bright spots on that roster. So you kind of never know. Like Lamar had that he had like what a 33-point game last week. And James Cook, Kareem Hunt, any of those guys could have a big game. So and Lad McConkey. So there's definitely some boom potential on his team. So you can as we saw last week, as I saw myself, you can't ever really count a team out. So, we're putting our best foot out there. We're not like paying attention to our lineup, putting our best guys out there, and we're playing it like it's a must win because like you kind of mentioned, every game is a must win for us now.
All right. Thank you, Sparsh, for your time. Happy Diwali and happy Halloween once again, and good luck to you next week.
Thanks, man. Yeah, happy Halloween, happy Diwali.